The name of the game is playing really, really good baseball in late May.
We have a motto here that, little things become big things. And if we can take care of those little things, I think we're gonna be all right.
We got to bring your expectations are high, and this is kind of what we're used to. This is how I was introduced to Middle Township basketball.
I miss being on the sidelines. I miss everything what high school football is all about. I think it's the greatest sport.
It's not a walk in the park going through our league.
And the message is simple. We want to win a state championship.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Cal 101 right here on Cape Atlantic Live. I'm your host, Nick Kosko, and we are presented by Ulmer's Appliance Service. With me today is Harbor Township football head coach Rob Davis, back for year 2. Pleased to talk to you again, Coach, on the program. This offseason, I got to say, to kick you off right here, is drastically different from the 2023 campaign when you took over the program after such a long time over at Barnegat.
Drastically. Yes. I'm a consistent person in life. You could ask my wife. I drive her nuts. I always do the same stuff all the time at the same time of the year. It was different being in the school for 20 years, starting a program from scratch, and then getting hired at the end of May of a big Group 5 school with a history of winning football in the past. So it was different. But I embraced it. The kids embraced it. The parents. I will say this, Nick. I was so impressed with how I was accepted from the players, the parents. Administration was awesome. And I love the faculty at EHT. I really do. It's just a great place to work at. And I'm looking forward to not only the future, but, the current days that we're going to have the next couple months.
So you guys obviously went through a lot of struggles last year, took your lumps, took your bruises, again, only a record of just 1-9, unfortunately for you guys. But, I know you're a guy that's talked about building a culture, building a program, and you did it at Barnegat for 2 decades. You sent a lot of kids over to college. You've won division titles. You've made the playoffs. So you have a history of success. And I think that's what EHT was looking for when they brought you in. But again, I wanted to really just harp on the point of, you go back to last May when you were hired. That's pretty much when all these other high school football teams, especially in this area, and the talented ones to boot, they've had a whole offseason program under usually the same regime. Their weight room is getting done. They put into, they put in their, we'll call it the spring install for spring football before they even get to training camp. So what were some of the biggest challenges you had to face last year when you were hired? You had to put a staff together. Everybody had to get board approved. They had to meet the kids. I mean, it seemed like it was just an absolute sprint for you from May into August.
Yeah, I mean, it was get to know everybody as quick as possible. In the off season, it's about relationships, and I think that the off season that we put in at EHT this year, led by Steve Scanlon, my outstanding assistant coach. He's our strength coach, but we put an all-in off season points, which we stressed on our players, which I did at Barnegat. You need 100 points to play football at EHT. And I think it's a privilege, not a right, to play football at EHT, and that's what we want to make it. And our weight program wasn't the only thing that we stressed on. We stressed on doing the right thing, academics, because you're a student athlete, not an athlete student. Being a good person in the hallways and at home, working for the community, doing positive things. So we give points all the time for our guys. But the weight program is really, we see the work ethic, and the culture has changed from the past year. And I want to get back to the winning ways that they did in the past, because EHT has won in the past, and we're going to get back in that winning mode real quick. We really are.
So talk about that point system, and I see you guys on social media. You're one of the more active teams and coaches on social media, kind of preaching the message to the township and the kids all around the county as well. I loved your weight room draft, and you want to get these kids excited for the winter of the weight room. But, if they weren't wrestling, playing basketball, doing track or lacrosse, baseball, whatever the case may be, they were probably in the weight room. You had great attendance, it seemed like, but you did a draft and you stressed like a point standing and all that good stuff. Was there a different kind of buzz this winter compared to the season? Again, I know you guys had the on-the-field struggles, but when you bring back the team you have this year and implementing new things into the program, was there more of a buzz this winter compared to when you took over? And is that carrying over to now as we're just a few months away from the season?
Well, I mean, I owe my seniors that graduated last year a lot. I mean, they inherited a new coach coming from another place 40-something miles away. They were outstanding. They came to practice every day. They worked hard. We just didn't win. And I'm not shying away. You are what you are with your record. We were 1-9. I've never been 1-9 before, and I don't plan on doing it again. I don't. But, I mean, I owe a lot to that senior class because I'm always going to remember that first class. They were very good leaders to our underclassmen. We had a lot of underclassmen in our program that never played football before, and they were very good with those guys. And it was a process that, in terms of on a Friday night football, I don't ever want to do again with terms of winning, losing. But the game of football is through the whole offseason. And I'm very excited about the turnaround of our underclassmen and their work ethic. We did a bench press when I got there. We did 12 guys bench 185 for one last year. 12. I was in shock. This year we had 40. We had 40 players that benched 185 and the traditional type of testing that guys do. I was very, very proud with how hard we worked in the offseason. The kids saw gains. Hard work does pay off. It really does. I believe that.
Without a doubt. So you're talking about some of these improvements in the weight room strength and the guys just buying in and maybe seeing what the overall vision of the program, and of course getting a year of varsity under their belt from last year as well. So are there any guys that have really stood out to you so far this offseason that are carryovers from last year that you're really expecting to maybe take on a bigger leadership role here in 2024, and guys maybe we should be watching out for?
We put a lot of kids under the lights. We wanted to play a lot of players, get them under the spotlight, and have them compete last year, and then this year have some experience. We have a lot of players that have some varsity experience. Mark Ware is a player that saw some action during the season last year, but has really, really impressed me in the weight room. He's got the most all-in points. He's got like 295 points. He works his tail off. His body has changed. He's just a guy that everybody rallies around. So he's a guy that maybe other programs don't know about, but we sure the heck do at EHT, and he's done a great job in the weight room. Anthony Matos, too, is another player, a senior. He's going to be a running back linebacker that's really elevated his performance in the weight room, has been there and done it. And he didn't see a lot of time last year. He was on the field special teams, but he's one of those leaders in the weight room. Also, a Danny Dunn, a senior running back corner that hasn't didn't play a lot last year, but has been in the weight room top point guys right there. And I expect to see a lot. And Anthony Ward, another kid that we're excited about that saw the field in limited fashion, but is going to be hard to take off the field this year. Has been great in the weight room there. Those are four guys that really have jumped at me that didn't maybe other programs know about, but we sure do. And they're going to definitely elevate our program in the off season. But if you wanted me to name a whole bunch of people, I could do that. We have clumps of guys, which depth is very important to me. I want to build depth because that will give us some ammunition for the season. I want to go to platoon as much as I could. Mm-hmm. We're starting our practices the last week, and we have a couple new coaches, and he said, "You're right. We have four guys that I don't know who's the number one guy." I said, that could be good or that could be bad, but we're going to use those guys, cut them in half. Maybe they're going to be starters on defense, and then they'll be playing on offense, and then Riverside it. So they're 1.5 type players. But I'm excited about the depth of our program. We have 96 kids that have done everything we've asked in the offseason on varsity. So sophomore, junior, senior, 96 players. Are demanding that they want to play, and who knows what's going to go on in the summer. Maybe it's not for them, but they have me fooled right now in the off season that they've been towing the line and doing it. We had our camp. We had 85 guys there in our mini camp, just 3 classes, and we have 37 freshmen that are playing football. So we're going to have around 120, 125 in our program. I'm excited about the depth of it. You give me numbers like that, I'm going to make it work.
when you talk about that depth, and it just seems like, again, I go back to the the buzzword, which is buzz around the program compared to last year, where it was kind of just like we had to, you guys had to throw it all together right there, kind of get it done in a couple months, and then just end up going to play football, and it was just basically not enough preparation like you would like. So, as an experienced coach like yourself, with Barnegat for 20 years, and all your success that we mentioned before. You came into a new program last year, a big school, a Group 5 school that, as you mentioned, has had success in the playoffs in the past. Over the last decade plus, it's been hit and miss. And, everyone usually likes to question, how's a big school like that not consistently at the top? And that's the goal that you have for the Eagles in 2024 and beyond. So what was the adjustment like for you? I'm curious because I haven't talked to you on this platform since last summer, where you go to last year and you might struggle. Depth is maybe more of a concern last year than it is this year. So when you look at last year in the rearview mirror compared to this year, did you make any adjustments in your coaching styles, especially since you were away for a couple of years as well after you left Barnegat, or is it kind of the same thing, but now you're able to hit it full throttle here this summer?
Well, I mean, when you're coaching for 20 years and you're coaching younger brothers of guys I've coached families of 3 people through the years. I had a stretch of 12 years of coaching like the Morris brothers that went on to Purdue, that went to Holy Cross, and went to John Hopkins. I've had guys like that. Everybody here didn't know me, so I had to, kind of win them over with work ethic, and that comes with time. If you're going to evaluate me on wins and losses, if the ball went to the upright this way instead of this way, that's not football. I mean, I've won a lot of games in the past where it was maybe, an inch here, an inch there. That doesn't make me a better coach. But being consistent every day, going to your work and doing it, I think that's the main thing I want people to see, is that what we're going to be all about. I don't want to be a good football team. I want to be a good football program.
I like that answer a lot. About your staff, too, I know you have a good mix of guys that you're familiar with, a veteran staff, and some younger guys as well as some EHT alums on that staff. What was the process in building your staff from last year, maybe making some changes or some evaluations going into year 2 as well, kind of getting that right balance of, these guys have been around and these other guys, maybe not as much as experienced, but they're younger, they're hungry, and they're obviously alums of the school as well. What went into your process into finalizing your staff for 2024?
Well, I just don't let anybody coach with us. I mean, I do want to be selective. You got to love your players. You got to love them. You got to also be able to be at practices and all that stuff for supervision, which goes with any program right there. But I want our coaches to know our players, what makes them click and all that before we start doing X's and O's. I think it's important when we have our staff meeting in the beginning, we talk about the person, not the jersey number kid. And that's real important. I'm excited about our staff. It's, our second year now with me. Actually, it's not even been a second year. It's been like 13 months. Yeah. If you think about it, it's kind of weird, but I used last year as something that's going to help me in the program going into this year.
So the division this year for you guys in the West Jersey Football League is the Memorial Division. Deptford, Cherry Hill East, you guys, Triton, Bridgeton, and ACIT. ACIT is obviously an interesting one considering they're a new Group 5 program. They've emerged as the next big school, at least in terms of enrollment size. They're following a varsity program as well. What was just your general takeaways from that new division this year after the realignment? And I know at least the WJFL usually goes by, okay, past couple of years of success will realign you this way. What'd you make of this makeup going into this year's schedule?
I don't know. I don't think anybody knew what was going on in the state. Most conferences were doing the same process and, shaking it up. I do like geographical rivalries. I do like that. I think that's important. Playing teams differently every other year, I think it's very tough. I've been there, done it in my other program. And, I like traditional matchups. I really do. So this is a lot of newness for us and for them. So we're going to embrace it, though. We're going to play. I have a lot of respect for the programs that we're playing. I've talked to those coaches throughout the off season, really good guys. And we're excited about our schedule.
When you look at the success that South Jersey football has had over the last couple of years, team-wise, individual-wise, especially with some of the guys that are getting Division I offers and making these Division I commitments as of late, South Jersey's kind of coming back onto the map over the last 10 years. I use Mainland as the example because they were the state champions last year. They're right down the road. They're a standard EHT rival for dating back a lot of years. When you see a team like that in Mainland, and also to maybe a lesser extent Millville, again, geographically they're around the area, but they're not right down the road. But again, still old school Cape Atlantic team. When you look at teams like that have had state title success and statewide success, with the resources that you guys have and with your vision that you're implementing into EHT and your confidence and your history of success as well, is that something that can be attained more 100%. So than just one school? Or was it a blip 100%. On the radar, or do you see EHT and others saying, you know what, statewide football, South Jersey's coming?
100%. I mean, looking at our athletic programs, we won a sectional state championship in basketball. Our track coach and track programs, outstanding. They've won the counties, I think it was 10 straight years. Coach Luch and Coach Bell do great jobs. Coach Carmichael on this baseball aspect is got those guys playing at the high level, playing championship ball. So they're winning. They're winning in our school and with our facilities, with our administration, our community, with our athletes. If I could keep all the athletes to stay at EHT, that's the thing. We're not losing players when they're in our program. We're not getting the players coming from 8th grade to the high school. Too many guys are picking and doing all that stuff. And that'll change. That will change. But that's the thing. We got so many guys playing in other places. I'm not proud of it. I wasn't around when a lot of those kids were leaving. But, we're going to coach the kids that want to be at EHT. And eventually we're going to get 100% of each class coming to EHT. And if that happens, we're definitely going to win. We have no excuses. Why not? We have the facilities and we're going to be, I got to get to the level of my other programs at EHT. I love the coaches. I love the program. I love what they're doing. And I feel like I have to, in my eyes, produce just like they did, because I have a lot of respect for Coach Bell, a lot of respect for Coach Lucio, a lot of respect for Coach Carmichael. Those three coaches there, they have one, and that's that. So if I can keep the athletes here at EHT, yeah, they'll play football. If you want to throw the college thing and you can go here and play college football, I put 66 kids in colleges. Coach Scanlon, when he was at Clearview, put another 20 guys right in there. High level, whatever you want to talk, whatever level and all that. So, I mean, once people in the area know what they have here, I think that we'll be fine. But there's no excuse why we can't get back to the level like they did in the past at EHT. No reason why not.
EHT coach Rob Davis with me right here on Cal 101, presented by Ulmer's Appliance Service. Coach, I'll leave you here with this one. Just a message to the township, what your program is going to be about here in 2024. Now, no one can expect 10-0 seasons every year. No one's going to expect winning. Winning doesn't come easy for any of these programs that are around the area. Everybody goes in their waves, but it seems like there's a different vibe around the Eagles here in 2024. What's your message from you and the players that you coach?
The thing I want to echo, I don't want to have all these rules and all these things that you got to try and memorize. Just the word all in. All in. Think of that. Anything you do, if you're going to put your name on something, go all in. I mean, if it's your marriage, if it's your group of friends, if it's your football team or it's your schoolwork, just be all in. If you're all in, you're going to win. You're going to win in life. And if you're winning in life, in between the Friday nights, you're going to win football games there. All in is something that we really preach to our athletes, and that's our hashtag that we do, and that's important to me. You got to be all in, and if it starts with our coaches and our players, and it just goes down to the youth level and all that. All in is something that we pride ourselves in everything we do.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. Good luck this season. Looking forward to watching you guys out on the Friday night lights on the EHT turf, of course, in the old school black and silver uniforms. Gotta love that. Again, as an alum too, black and silver never goes out of style. Of course,
you got new helmets,
and I do. Yeah, I did notice that new helmets. So with the Oregon, looks like the Oregon wings. Am I correct?
Yeah, we got the Oregon wings. More people want to see the helmets than Coach Davis, which I'm fine with. Right. We got new helmets. I'm really proud the fact that we got the Battle at the Beach.
Yes.
We're going to host it at our place on the 30th and 31st. I appreciate them having enough of confidence in our school and our program to host that. It's a great event that we're really, really excited about that. So I want EHT to be relevant, and we'll get there. And I'm going to work my tail off to make sure that that the players, the parents, the community have something that they have a lot of pride in, and know the fact that we're all in to EHT.
EHT is the finale at the Battle of the Beach this year on Saturday, August 31st, of course, as the host school, hosting on that Friday and Saturday. Ocean City hosts the first day. Coach, appreciate your time. Good luck this year, and looking forward to talking to you later this summer.
Always a pleasure. I love watching your show, and keep up the great work.
Appreciate that, Coach. This is Cal 101 right here on Cape Atlantic Live.